who are ready to stop working hard and start building smarter. Now, if you've been trying to grow your business, get clear on your next, increase your mindset, or just put a brand in front of the right audience.
This ain't about gossip. This ain't about noise. This is about ownership, clarity, strategy, power.
Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Today is a new day, and we are getting ready for today's episode of Gurll Mind Your Business. Getting a title is not the same as being ready to lead. Did you hear that? Getting a title is not the same as being ready to lead. And being ready to lead is not the same as being equipped to stay. How about that? My guest today is none other than Elaine Beattie. She didn't build a 35-year career just teaching leadership readiness because it sounded like a good niche. She built it because she's been what it costs, that talent for women who get promoted and left to figure it out all alone. I'm going to bring Elaine to the stage so she can tell us a little bit about herself and just be ready for the crumbs to listen to Elaine Beattie. Welcome to the stage, Elaine.
Hello, Cookie. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Glad to be here.
Good, good. Elaine, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what prompted you to create this blueprint, lead well, lead wise, and everything nobody told you about leading from the top.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm a girl from New York. I believed in the American dream, right? They said, go to college, get a degree, you'll get a good job. Well, I did get a good job. I ended up in the hotel business and I interviewed Sheraton hotels. I had 6 interviews in one day. And they said, Elaine, you can be a general manager in 10 years. Now, let me just say this. This was a while ago. I don't want to age myself. Okay. And what I learned later is that those were 10 man years. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. So I hit the ground running. I get to Miami, my Miami hotel, and I am working because I'm going to be a star. As I'm working 10, 12, 14, 16 hours a day. And guess what? I set up a pattern for myself that continued for the next 10 years. And you know the story. I got burned out, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And I was one of these girls that believed that when I worked hard, I should play hard. And so I was burning the candle at both ends. And when I tell you burning, I was burning. Okay.
mm,
Well, thank God for God, because God got a hold of me. See, the first part of the story, I was trying to do it without God, and I have to bring Him into the story because it was really that, right, that turned my life around. I went on to be a general manager. It took me 16 years, and through that time, I learned so many lessons. I managed hundreds of employees. I worked at small baby doll hotels that were just precious, those Sheridan Park Avenue, to super tankers in New Orleans and Toronto, right? And I learned in Washington, D.C. And what I learned about leadership, I learned on the ground, managing hundreds of people, different kinds of people. Every single hotel was different. Every single hotel was different. And so it is my desire now to help people to lead well and to lead wise because I didn't lead well from a place of well being, right? And I believe it's important for people to protect and to be conscious of their well being as well as the well being of the organization and to lead wise. Use all of the resources that we have around us, right? Books, people, podcasts, education, experience, everything, right? So that's what I mean by lead well, lead wise.
okay. That's a culmination of your life in bits. So I just want to ask, I was reading something about your SEEAT framework, and everything you do is really based around that framework. So tell us a little about what SEEAT actually means, what it stands for.
Well, it's the SEAT framework because I am purposed at making sure, particularly women and women of color, but whoever I'm coaching, that they end up in the highest level seat that they desire. And the
Okay.
way to do that, and I realized over the years that I really had a pattern and a framework that I worked from. The S stands for self-awareness. We must be self-aware. We must be clear about who we are in our identity. The E is for emotional intelligence. Today, more than ever, we
Yeah.
must utilize emotional intelligence. The E is for education. We must be ongoing learners, right? Lifelong learners. The A is for accountability. If we don't, we can hold ourselves accountable, but you know how that is, right?
Yeah.
We need other people to hold ourselves accountable. And then the last is transformation. My prayer and hope is that people are changed, that they are not the same once they work with me.
Okay. That's great. I I read the framework and it's actually really good. And you also have a book called Sis You Earned It. Now,
I, mm-hmm. Right here.
okay.
Da, da, da,
Okay.
da.
So what is the thing that high achieving women who've earned what they've earned, what are they still not letting themselves have and why?
Yeah. Oh, Cookie, that is a loaded question. That is a loaded question. When I say sis, you earned it. First of all, it starts with mindset, right? We have to really believe, for those of us who've been in the game 10, 12, 14, 20, 25 years, that we've earned our position. We've earned our seat. And that's it. No more, right? We are so used to overworking and overproducing and oversharing and the overts, right? That we end up on the floor. And I don't know about you, but back in the day, they used to say, leave it all on the floor. I used to play
Yeah,
sports, right? You remember that, right?
right.
And and so we did that at work. We did
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
And so again, I have written the book so that women in particular understand that uh, there are strategies, there are actions that we must take in order to move forward. In order to move forward, and again, it starts with self-awareness, but being clear about our identity, and making sure that we are doing mission work, that we are doing, work that is really from the heart. Because when we do that, then we have staying power, right?
Right.
Oftentimes you just go, oh, I just wish I had, more discipline. It's not about discipline. It's not about discipline. It's about knowing what we've been called to do, right? But,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I got a coach in my 20th year, and I only stayed 21 years in the hotel business. I didn't even know such a thing existed.
Right.
But, but when I got a coach, my life changed. Now I'm watching all the men just run past me, and I'm thinking, what in the world? What are they doing? Well, they had coaches, and ain't
Right.
nobody told us about coaches.
Right. Right. You're right.
So I wrote the book because it's not a secret. What I learned, I'm happy to share. I mentor women. I love mentoring women. I love, again, training, particularly women. I've done it and they're out there in the world and they're doing great things. It is not a secret how to get ahead.
That's right. That's right. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast and why it's named Girl Mind Your Business. Because if we don't take charge and mind what we're doing in business, we're gonna be left behind. And that title alone just hits, it should hit every woman listening, especially the high achieving women. That's just great, Elaine.
Thank you.
Look, what is the one thing that stays constant about great leadership no matter where you stand.
I think great leaders are really self reflective,
Mm,
are really self reflective. We take the time to, after we've done all we've done, to sit back and say, what was the impact? What can I change? Did that really land the way I want it to? Because it's not about profits, although it is, but we're not going to get the profits unless we're about the people. And so we must be people managers. We must be people leaders, right? We must be about the people.
right, right. And you're just not one context leader. You moved across everywhere and producing results. And I'm so thrilled to have you here today. Elaine, you have no idea. But
Thank you.
you're also host talks and things, that we wish we knew. But the things women in leadership wish somebody had told them before. Just give me two or three things that you found out as you were leading others.
Yeah. So most of my managers and leaders were white men, older white men. And I had some good ones. I had some good ones. But basically, if and they might have said it to my face, but if they didn't, what they said is be like me.
Yeah,
And that did not work. That did not work, right? I mean, I was a shapeshifter. Hello, I'm reformed now. Okay. I tried to feel like them, do this, do that. And then they'd say, Elaine, why are you making all those faces? You know why? Because it was like trying to put on a dress or some pants that didn't fit. Right? So the first thing I would say is get to know yourself and be confident in who you are. Authenticity wins every single
mhm,
time, hands down. The other is to take care of yourself. We cannot take care of other people. We cannot be great leaders unless we invest in ourselves and take care of ourselves, right? You and I believe in coaching. We have coaches, we've had coaches, we've spent thousands of dollars, right, in coaches. I have two master's degrees. I believe in investing in myself.
right,
Yesterday I went for a massage, right? I used to take, when I was single, I'm married now, but when I was single, I used to take week-long vacations at spas just bring myself back alone, right?
right,
And then
right,
the third thing I would say is make sure that you have a support system. A support system. See, we get into leadership and we end up, right, moving up the ladders. And I don't know about you, but I was running a $10 million operation, a hotel in Dallas, and I was terrified. I was terrified of the things I didn't know. I was a good people person. I could,
right,
manage my staff and the customers, hiring. I have an HR background. I could do all those things. I would get a little caught up around the numbers and and I mean I read budgets, I did budgets and all that, but it wasn't really my strength. And we're not expected to do everything right well. But
right.
I had nobody to talk to, and I
Exactly.
was afraid to tell people, right? So I tell all of my clients, a good support system looks like this. You have a coach, executive coach. You have a therapist. Let me say that again. You have a therapist. Okay. We all need a therapist. You have a good friend, maybe one from childhood. My best friend I met at the front doors of my dorm in college. Okay. And we live about 40 minutes away now here in Atlanta. It's just fantastic. I love her to death. We have a good family member. It could be a cousin, an auntie, somebody, whatever, right? And then we have a good spiritual leader. When we have those things in place, we are held up and we're able to lead well and to lead wise.
That's great. Okay, authenticity. I'm sure A lot of women I found, they want to be like you. They want to be like their mom. They want to be like their friend. They wonder why you made it, so they try and mimic whatever you're doing. That's not the way. I've told so many. It's amazing how people allow somebody else to tell them who they are instead of finding their own inner peace and finding out who they are. Now, taking care of yourself, I'm a big advocate of that. I'm like you. I make sure I take care of myself. I don't care what is going on. I don't care what bill is due. I'm taking care of myself. And and I tell everybody, I have this shirt that say, "Be you, do you, for you."
Oh,
That's
I love it. I love
that's
it.
the best thing I could have found, because when I realized who I was, I could care less about what you think, who you are, where you've been, how many degrees you got. I'm doing me. Forget about you. I'm doing me. As far as support, we all need support. We have to find that person. We have to find that person to
Yes.
support us. It may not be your spouse. It may not be your children. It may not be your friend, but there's somebody out there that can support you. And I'm one of those people. I'm always positive. If you come to me with some negativity, okay, good evening, because I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I am not. And I think about my shirt, be you, do you, for you, every time.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I might have to borrow that there, Cookie. I might have to borrow
Oh,
that.
you can borrow it. You can
Yeah.
borrow it.
Yeah, and to your point, Cookie, I have a sister. We don't get along well. That's a lot of families. We just, have
Right,
that person. But
right,
I have a mentor who now I consider my big sister. And we've known each other for 40 years. I was just on the phone with her. I'm having a party tomorrow, and she's, all things food. And she's like, okay, do this and do that and do this. But
right.
she was also my mentor in the hotel business. We
Mm,
all have to have somebody to look toward. And I do want to, I forgot to say that it's important to have mentors
right.
that we can look toward. So she was an African American woman running a hotel, and there were only a few of us back at that time. I think there were probably only 10, believe it or not, in this country running major hotels, right? I'm not talking about the little, the
I
little,
believe it. Yes,
Mhm.
yes. And that is something you have to have somebody, because my mom used to say all the time, everybody needs a sounding board.
That's
If
right.
you can be that person's sounding board, be that person. And if you can't, and she also said, if somebody give you information and they trust you enough to give you that information, that's not for you to take to somebody else. It's for
That's right.
you and that person. And I'm a firm believer of that. This head carries so much information. People will just come to me and they'll just talk. But that's between me and them, not anybody else. And some people just don't understand that. You have to have somebody you can go to and you can trust. Mentor, friend, sister, whoever. And I'm like you. I have a sister. We talk, we're close, but there's only certain things I'm going to tell my sister. I
Hmm.
have a friend that I can tell her anything, but
Hmm.
I know my sister will be critical of whatever I've said. Just like this. She asked me, "Why in the world at your age you trying to start a podcast? What in the world do you think you're doing?" I just said what I want to do.
That's
And that
exactly right. And it's never too late. As long as we got breath, as long as we have life in our bones, it is never too late. It is
right.
never too late. And I want people to hear that because, again, as women, we're mothers, we're daughters, we're sisters, we're caretakers. I see a girlfriend of mine. I know she's probably 15 years older than me, and
Mm,
I think she just hit her stride about 10 years ago. And now she's traveling the world. So
Right.
she's got to be in her 70s and probably late 70s. It's not too late. It's never too late.
It's never too late. Age is nothing but a number, and when we get that in our head, and we're the only ones that's concerned about age. You know, I had somebody ask me about my hair. You're at the age your hair should be great. My hair is whatever color I want it to be.
Look, let them and let us, right?
Right, right. But anyway, enough of that because I can talk about that all day. What is uh what do you want? I won't say one thing because you may have more than one. But what do you want women listening right now that's been given the title but not the preparation?
Hmm.
What do you want them to know right now instead of listening to all of that garbage in their heads, social media, at work? What do you want them to know and learn that they can start today learning how to lead wholeheartedly?
Yes, the most important thing, and I've said this again, I said this earlier, but I'll repeat it. We do not have to lead alone. When we have a coach, when we have a mentor or somebody that's in our field, and we're able to have a conversation, let's say we're having a difficulty with our boss, or there's some kind of strife with some work relationships, because they're tough to manage. We need to have somebody to be able to bounce that off of, who will give us wise uh, strategies in order to get through it. And so again, I what I see with my clients is that they've been doing it alone.
Right,
And yesterday I was talking, and by the way, I'm a coach to in ministry and in the marketplace. And so yesterday I was talking to a pastor, and it was only our third session, but the organization had hired me to help her because I think she was having some problems with her church. And when she got on, she was really nervous, the first time, and then the second time it got a little better. And yesterday she said, Elaine, she finally just came out with it and said, I thought this was punitive. I was really afraid. She says, but you have helped me so much. She says, I just love the fact that I have you, because I was feeling all alone. And she says, and yesterday, I told my church, blah, 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 blah. And let me tell you something, she had a breakthrough. She had an absolute breakthrough. And that's what happens when we have somebody standing with us, speaking life into us, encouraging us, affirming us, right? So that's really the main thing. The other thing is get, if you don't know, get the education.
right,
Get it. It's out there. I mean, people talk about YouTube. Okay, that's one way, but there are professionals in every field. You can find a coach, you can find a book, you can find a podcast. Don't accept the fact that you don't know. Look, I'm a baby boomer, right? And learning AI was scary to me,
mm,
but I have moved past the fear, and now it's kind of like challenging and exciting. I'm like, okay, look what I did.
I know it is. It's as another friend say, AI is not the devil, but so many people think it is, and that's one of the things that I've learned, and I've actually taught some of my clients. You just got to break it down. And I start step one. This is how you create. This is how you prompt. You gotta start somewhere. And if it's okay to start at the beginning.
And there's so many resources. And again, I say, try and find a mentor, try and find somebody who's gone before you. All they need to do is be a couple of steps ahead of you. And if they sound like they don't want to share the information, pick up your little handbag and go to the next person, because there's people who will share and people who will help you. If you get resistance, that's not your person.
Right. Right. You're absolutely right. Well, we're going to take a break right now. And this episode is brought to you by Girl Mind Your Business. This is a space where bold women entrepreneurs who are ready to stop working hard and start building smarter. Now, if you've been trying to grow your business, get clear on your next, increase your mindset, or just put a brand in front of the right audience, this is your invitation. Girl Mind Your Business will help you find your superpower. There's a free assessment, and the link will be in the episode. Okay, Elaine, before our time is winding down, and before we do, every Monday I put out a cookie crumble tip. That's just a tip for women in business. Actually, I don't just work with women, I work with men, but I work more with women. But there's a cookie crumble, and it's just a tip for my audience. Give me what your version of a cookie crumble is, just to encourage women, men, whoever that are in business and in leadership.
Cookie, I believe everything starts from a point of rest.
Yes.
From a point of rest. We are challenged with being so busy here, there, everywhere. And we can't think. We can't be creative. We can't be amenable. Everything starts from a place of rest. When we're rested, again, our creativity is wider, our vision is clearer. We're able to be patient and to listen better. It just helps us to really be our best selves. And so I would say streamline your life, break through the busyness, eliminate that, and make rest a priority so that you can be your best self.
That's great, Elaine. That is great. Just be your best self. And I'm an advocate for that. So as we close, if anything that's been said by Elaine and you're leading right now and you want something to help you exhale, you've been carrying something that you were never supposed to carry alone. Leadership readiness is not about working hard. It's about pretending you have it all. It's not about pretending you have it all together.
That's
It's
right.
about being equipped to lead from a place of wholeness. That's what Elaine does. I'm going to drop your link, drop your contact information on the episode, Elaine, and just thank you for helping me lead well, wise, and wholeheartedly. This episode was exciting to me, and I'm going to have to have you back. I tell everybody that, but I really have to have you back, and we've got to catch up.
We do. We've been some hardworking women trying to
Yeah.
grow and scale our businesses. And congratulations to you. And I
Thank
do
you.
really, again, pray that this is helping so many women and men, and a few good men, right? And a few
Right,
good.
right.
So blessings to you, Cookie.
All right. Thank you, and you have a great rest of your day.
Appreciate it. Take good care.
Thank you.